Hello everyone, welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Steve Horde, that's Chris Pajak, that's Tom Jennings. Second in our positional... second show of our positional shows.
Yeah. Yes.
That works.
Catchy.
That works.
Ron Seal. You don't have Ron Seal in America if you watch it from there. Or maybe you do. It's paint. That's exactly what it says on the tin.
And that's what this show is going to do. We did our quarterback show last week. Please go back and watch that if you haven't already. Preferably at the end of the show, don't do it yet. We're going to be moving on to what I think is one of the more glamorous positions in the league. And probably one of the most talent-rich positions in the league. It's the wide receivers. You know, straight off the bat, my first question to you, Chris, and it's one that we love doing this kind of thing. I think everyone loves kind of
I don't like ranking them.
You're not a big fan. Who's the top 5 receivers in the league?
Okay, so for me, it's Antonio Brown, number 1.
Yeah.
Maybe controversial. I'd go DeAndre Hopkins, number 2.
It's not that. Yeah, I don't think that's controversial.
Then I'd maybe go Julio Jones, number 3. Number 4, I've forgotten. Oh yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. Of course it is. And number 5, I'm going to go Adam Thielen.
You're a big Adam Thielen fan.
But honourable mention for Michael Thomas.
He's very, very good. He is. Go on, Jenno.
I've went number 1 Brown, number 2 Jones, number 3 Beckham, number 4 AJ Green, and then number 5 Hopkins. That was originally Michael Thomas, and I was just having a look at stats and I completely forgot about Nuke and then chucked them out.
Oh, your man?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so Brown 1, Beckham 2, Hopkins 3, Jones 4. 5's a tough one, I think it's Michael Thomas, so I've got Michael Thomas 5. I'd have Diggs with Thielen if I was doing my own list. I know you're a big Thielen fan, so I think we've all agreed on similar names. So, you know, the Joneses and the Hopkins and the Browns. I suppose the debate first then is probably on Adam Thielen. Obviously, Vikings bias might have played into it a bit, but his production over especially last season, I mean, you can't compare him with anyone.
He's incredible. He makes tough catches in tough situations, and that's the biggest thing. And, you know, he's not always open in space. You know, the contested catches all the time, and he's able to hold these in. His hands must be so strong. And, you know, we've been blessed watching NFL over the last few years of seeing these tight ends that just have the strongest hands. Thielen's almost got tight end hands for me, and I would, if I had like just one throw to make and Diggs and Thielen, I wouldn't look at Diggs. I really wouldn't look at Diggs. I'd look at Thielen all day long because his production's great. He fights for it. He's got everything that I want to see in an NFL player. You know, that desire to go and prove people wrong, which a lot of top NFL players use to sort of fire them to success. I think Thielen's unbelievable. Like, and without probably the physical attributes of a lot of these wide receivers around him, the others are all monsters. Thielen's not really like.
No, he's not like, he hasn't got a standout skill set, but he does catch everything. I mean, again, my favourite moment of last season was when we were at Twickenham when he catches that, and he's just wide open. And obviously, it's a bit of a busted play, but he was open all game. We were pretty much at pitch level or field level, as Americans might say, and he was open all game. And like I say, that's one thing I did notice about him. And that you mentioned before, he has the contested catches, which he does, but I think that was more of a case of when plays broke down almost. He was so good at getting open. His first step was unbelievable. Neither of us two mentioned AJ Green. He's probably one of the most underappreciated players in the league, full stop. You would say he is phenomenal. What made him go so high on your list?
I just think AJ Green's been a top 5 receiver now since he's been in the league. I think it's that small market thing, because he's in the small market of Cincinnati. People just don't appreciate him. He's as fast as anyone. He makes all these contested catches. He's a superb route runner. I just think, again, when you look at his stats, they're up there with all these wide receivers we mentioned. It's just the idea that's a small market. People forget about him. Yeah, I think if you don't look at like stats, you'd probably forget he even exists because no one cares about the Bengals.
Yeah, it's true.
That is, yeah,
true.
No one does care about the Bengals.
And he's been able to do it in spite of their head coach
and quarterback. The only difference I put Michael Thomas in mine. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I think he's unbelievable in terms of he has the physical attributes that you mentioned before. He's got all of them in abundance. He catches everything. He is so fast, and it's not like he's.
Am I right in saying he's put up like the most catches over 2 seasons for
in terms of yardage? Yeah, I know. Like Jarvis Landry had the most catches, but it's like 5-yard dump offs. But Thomas is just he's playing in a dome with one of the greatest quarterbacks of the last couple of decades, perhaps. But I think he's the next superstar. I mean, the ones who we mentioned have all kind of been around for a while, haven't they? The Jones and the Beckhams and the Hopkins and obviously Antonio Brown's the best, arguably one of the best of all time. I think Thomas is getting into that conversation of the absolute best. And listen, we talk in depth, like you say, Green is obviously one of them. I think Diggs is up there, Thielen's up there. There's absolutely tons, and that's what I was saying before, the depth of this position is just absolutely incredible.
Can I talk about basically, because I put him as number 2, DeAndre Hopkins, and he's been able to post unbelievable numbers with not much going on behind him. Like that's why I put him so high. And
he catches everything.
He does. He absolutely does. And you know, we know what happened with their quarterback last season. So he's able to do this and continue to do it. And that's why I rank him higher than the likes of Julio Jones, because everybody knows what Julio Jones' drops last season and lack of touchdowns as well.
That's the thing, yeah.
And I think
that's why I had them for the red
zone thing's it's a big thing, isn't it? You know,
I'll be honest, I just wrote down the top 5. I didn't really order them. I just thought,
that's
Browns 1, everyone else. I think Browns that far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah,
that's just like 4 just pick and throw them.
The only thing with Hopkins is he doesn't get open, so he's very rarely open. He doesn't really need to be, but he doesn't. So a lot of his catches are the sideline catches are out of this world. He's never going to be one of those guys who makes the catch and run type play, really, is he? Because everything's he's just up and go up and get it.
He's not going to be Odell, catch a slant and then just take it to the house. He doesn't
or
really
Brown,
do that.
Or even Jones. I think Jones has got the ability to do that to an extent. I love Hopkins. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I think he's got the best hands, and we've got a question later what he might be one of my answers for. We don't want to spoil it too much, but I think he is absolutely. I think he's done. I mean, if you look at the quarterbacks who've thrown to him, they've all, bar Deshaun Watson, been absolute bums, and he's managed to have the only one who he kind of struggled with Osweiler, and that's because Osweiler just didn't throw him it. I think your quarterback's got to trust you when you're that type of receiver. Your quarterback's got to throw it to you even when you're covered, and I think Deshaun Watson was definitely doing that at the end of last season. I mean, obviously before he got hurt. I think if he's fit, Hopkins could have like a monster season. And I am fantasy nerd alert. I'm in a dynasty league. We just started with my friends, and Hopkins is my first pick. I think I had pick number 4 in the draft or something, and I just picked him because I think he's going to be unbelievable for a long time. At the other end of the spectrum, then moving on, Chris. A lot of older veteran type receivers changed sides this season, changed clubs this season.
Yeah.
And so I've got 3 here, and I just want to know, out of these 3, who do you think have the better individual season? So I've got Jordy Nelson, who's left my Green Bay Packers to go to Oakland. Brandon Marshall has recently signed in Seattle, and Michael Crabtree has found his way to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Who do you think, in terms of statistics?
I don't want to run over it all, like everybody's, because if you might pick different ones, but I've gone Jordy Nelson there. And it's a difficult one, but the reason is, it's rumoured that Gruden's going to go power run game. And if that's the case, and they've got a running back and a full-back on the field at all times, I think that makes Jordy Nelson's life a little bit easier. And I think the reason that they will probably go sort of power run game is to open the passing game up. I think they've got a quarterback who's going to throw him the ball. Because Crabtree's left their number 1 target as well, I think Jordy Nelson is just going to slot in there. I think as well, the fact that you've got Amari Cooper there, I know he's been a little bit up and down and stuff, but he is going to draw some attention as well. So I just feel like out of those 3 players, without the reasons why the others aren't going to be that good, I think it's set up for Jordy Nelson, but it's boom or bust. At the same time, I'm just banking on boom for it. Like,
who have you gone for?
I'm going for Michael Crabtree.
Yeah.
I don't think this wasn't even close. I read the straight away when Michael Crabtree jumped off to me. He's still being productive. He was still productive in the Raiders last season, even in
he was brilliant for them.
In a bad season for Derek Carr, he was still very productive. I look at it and I go, Joe Flacco likes to throw it to. We've seen what he did with Dalton Bolden. He'll throw up for a contested catch. Crabtree's excellent at contested catches. He's also a very good route runner. I think they'll give him what they need since they've lost Steve Smith, which is a good route runner and a guy you can trust, and I don't think the Ravens have had that. Jerry Macklin didn't really work out, so they've rolled the dice again with another veteran. I think it wasn't even close. I think it's Michael Crabtree is clearly going to be the best wide receiver.
I think I'm with you, although what I would say is that if Brandon Marshall can be the red zone threat we think he can be, then maybe it's him. On Nelson, I saw a lot of Nelson last year, and he just couldn't get open. At any stage, he was easy to cover for, and it was very un-Jordy, because Jordy used to always get open, Rodgers would run around a bit, and then he'd wave his hand and catch a back shoulder. He was struggling with it, whether it's age or whether he was coming back off an injury. So sometimes they say, it takes 2 years to get back from a serious knee injury, so maybe it is. I think I would go Crabtree as well. I just think he's the better player of the 3 of them. The only issue is potentially, well, he's got the worst quarterback of the three. Yeah. So that's how you can balance it out. I think, you know, Derek Carr and Russell Wilson are far better than Joe Flacco.
Absolutely.
We'll see how Lamar Jackson gets on, I suppose, as well. But I think I'd go Crabtree, but it's one of those.
Can I just have a little bit on Marshall? I don't think he's going to make the Seahawks. I think he'll get released.
Their wide receiver core is not very,
well, it's never done well. So for me, it was never an option. I looked at it, I was like, nah, Seahawks no, because no. Yeah. Because they never get production out of their wide receivers.
What you could say is the way they could justify is that they don't have the tight end threat anymore, which they've had for a while. Obviously, they let Jimmy Graham go to Green Bay, so maybe they brought Marshal in to try and be the red zone. But I think it's quite telling that it took him this long to find a team. He only recently signed, where, you know, Nelson was snapped up a day after he got released. Crabtree was similar. A few second-year players then that people have kind of forgot about, and you know, one of these three could well break into top 10 list maybe at the end of the season. I'll start with you, Jenno, then. Corey Davis in Tennessee, John Ross in Cincinnati, and Mike Williams of the Chargers. All three were drafted in the top 10 last year, and all three were, I think they all had injury issues pretty much immediately. I mean, the sample size we've seen of them in the NFL is very small, all three of them, but is there anyone of those that you think might have a breakout season, a better season than the others?
See, at first I was thinking Corey Davis, because at the end of last season in the playoffs, he started to emerge, but then I was thinking, nah, it's Mike Williams at the Chargers, because he's going to have Phillip Rivers, and who's going to have the best wide receiver? It's going to be the one with the best quarterback and getting the ball. I think with Keenan Allen on the other side, if Williams is anything, he should have a very productive season as a number 2 role player, whereas the other two are going to be, well, we don't know what Ross is. He's just fast, but he's shown nothing. And I'm not really fussed on the rest of the Tennessee Titans wide receiving corps to see whether Davies will break out or not.
Yeah, I've gone for the same, to be honest, but the reason I've not gone for Corey Davis is I know that they've got a new offensive coordinator. I think his name's LaFleur, isn't it, or something like that. So the rumours are that he's going to be simplifying the run routes because he just didn't get open. He found those routes too difficult to do. If they simplify them, I can understand him having a decent season. But for me, it's about LA. It's about having that better quarterback. And they've invested a fucking lot in him. And I know it was a back injury, wasn't it? It was a back disc problems for him, something like that, was it? I feel like they will use him, and there's question marks on the others.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Corey Davis. I think he showed at the end of the season how good he can be, and even the catches against New England were out of this world. I think some of them were really, really good, and I think
they were his only touchdowns, weren't they?
He was injured. Yeah, like I say, he was injured a lot, and it took him a while to go. And like I say, the Tennessee Titans offense was just an absolute mess. There's a reason why they won a playoff game and still sacked the head coach. How often does that happen? It's very rare. Because he did nothing for Mariota, you know. One of those games he caught his own touchdown, didn't he? Off bad, you know, it was a kind of a
that was a mad one.
Yeah, it was kind of like not a fluky win, but I don't know. Beating Kansas City is kind of like everyone understands.
Kansas City blew a lead in the second half.
Kansas City have got a very much of this. They've got the habit of, you know, bottling playoff games. So I think Davis. I think he when they all come out, I had Williams ranked above them. I think I had it Williams, Davis, Ross, and I think Davis might have flipped him. On John Ross, he is lightning fast. Like, it's unbelievable, but he's done nothing yet. The injuries are just, it was a bad injury to get. I think his role might be more as a decoy role, just taking the top off teams, because Andy Dalton isn't going to throw that many deep passes. I think you'll see him running lots and lots of go routes, which might help AJ Green, and it'll also help Joe Mixon. I think the threat of John Ross might be more productive than John Ross, if that kind of makes sense. The Torrey Smith role that in
the Teddy Ginn.
Yeah, the Ted Ginn role. You might just get one bomb and move on. There was a few big money free agent signings in terms of wide receivers. Again, not really the elite level players, but maybe the level underneath. Depending on how you feel about Allen Robinson, some people do rate him that highly. I'll start with you then, Chris. So, Allen Robinson is now, like I mentioned, in Chicago. Jarvis Landry's gone to Cleveland. There's Sammy Watkins, which is an interesting one, has gone to Kansas City. Again, team permitting is a big issue because, you know, Cleveland and stuff. But is there any of those that you think are on for a really good season?
Watkins is probably the one, I think. You know,
he's so good. He's just always injured.
But with that quarterback, it's probably going to be Pat Mahomes, isn't it? And he's going to be launching the ball. Sammy Watkins is going to eat that up, I'd reckon. I think he's got Andy Reid there as well. He's also got the threat of Tyreek Hill on the other side.
Kelsey,
it just feels like there's going to be one guy open, and it feels like it's probably going to be him. The difficulty that he's probably going to have to deal with, and I don't know whether it's mental or whether it's physical or whether it's a little bit of both, actually, is that he wants to be one of those guys who takes fucking 150 receptions or 100 receptions a year like Odell Beckham does, and still be the deep threat as well. I think with his injuries, you've got to just go, you're here for this job, and it might be 30, 40 receptions a year, but you'll get your numbers because of that, because we'll play to your strengths. And if they can do that, then they can manage his injuries, because he's not going to be taking loads of tackles, he's not going to be taking loads of hits, and therefore he's going to have a better season.
What are you all thinking?
My thinking was the same. I was thinking it was Watkins. I just think the situation of Kansas City, it's where wide receivers are going to thrive. I think you're going to finally get a deep threat in Kansas City with something, well, not a deep threat, but an outside the numbers threat, because that's not what Tyreek Hill is, just a pure deep threat. So I think Watkins going to become your actual number one, and then you start using Tyreek Hill in more gadget plays, and you don't have to be looking for him all the time. Just find him when he's open and when teams kind of forget about him, and there's going to be good production on either side. Just a word on Allen Robinson, I'm a big fan, but I just don't know what that offense and what that quarterback can do yet to know what he can do. And then when it comes to Jarvis Landry, I mean, catch 7 billion catches for 20 yards, I don't care.
I think Landry's going to be good in Cleveland. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to catch a lot.
Really good in Cleveland's not very good everywhere else.
I think he's going to catch a lot. But again, it's the yardage. He's an over the middle type of guy. He makes the tough throws, so he gets smacked a lot. You know,
you're talking Bolden before. There's a guy who's catching in the same area of the field. Like
I think he's going to do well. I think Allen Robinson's actually the most talented of those three players. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky. I've been saying that on the show, and it might be proven wrong. I just don't trust them. I think they're going to go run heavy with Howard and lots of dump offs to Cohen anyway. I think Robinson's really, really talented, but he's again coming off an injury. I think I'd probably agree with you and go for Watkins on that as well. Before we get to the end topic of our one catch one game, I want to know, Chris, is there anyone we mentioned last week about a quarterback who might go from middle of the pack who could skyrocket up? I think you said Mahomes, didn't you? It was one of your answers. I said Jameis Winston, and you said Jimmy Garoppolo, which is bizarre because he's brilliant. Is there anyone that you can think of who might be maybe in the 10 to 20 range who you think could be pushing for the top 5? And while you have a think, I can go first if you want.
Ahead, yeah.
Again, maybe it's back. I think Devontae Adams is really, really good. Like, really, really, really good.
That's a good shout.
I think he's really, really talented. And he
caught so many balls.
They've just paid him. He's undisputed wide receiver 1 now. You know, Jordy's gone, Randall Cobb's probably going to be 2 or 3. I know Jimmy Graham's there. Adams' issues at first he was always open, he just couldn't catch. He dropped everything, and fair play to him, he worked on it. Now, some people might class him as a top 10 receiver, and I think he's bottom end if he is. I wouldn't be surprised if he has especially if Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers again. Aaron Rodgers' number 1 targets tend to do well. So Greg Jennings was good, not great, I think, and he had amazing season. Jordy Nelson was great, and he had a great season. So I think Adams could be one who, it wouldn't be surprised if he had the most yardage in the league. You know, something that crazy. I think he's going to be the next breakout star. And the Packers just paid him a lot of money. I think by next year it could be one of those where you think, oh, you know, he's that's good. That's pretty good value for money on a team who desperately need to save some money because they're about to pay Rodgers like heaven and earth. Have you got anyone sprung to mind, Jenno?
No, I'm still thinking. Have you got anyone, Chris?
Not a chance, mate. I'm just having a little look at some players now. It's so difficult. There's so many wide receivers that I just can't pin it down. Like,
one thing I was thinking was Robbie Anderson for the Jets. I'm a big fan of him. I love the way he runs routes, but then
it's the
off-the-field issues made me think reluctant to say he's going to have a breakout year. So there's someone like that. So like you think maybe with Sam Darnold they're finally going to find someone who can get Robbie Anderson the ball, but then that off the field that always scares me so much.
Anyone else?
I can't really think of.
I'm thinking
to be honest,
the other ones who maybe come into mind. I think, depending on what you think of Stephon Diggs, I think it depends how people rate him. I think he's super talented. The issue is the offense gets spread between two of them. I think he's like.
Yeah, I think it'll be easier for Cousins to hit Diggs than it will to have that rapport that Keenum had with Thielen. So maybe that's probably going to be my answer then. I rate them both very, very highly. It's where you rate Diggs to begin with. Yeah. Do you rate him top 10 or you rate him 10 to 20?
Mike Evans had a down year.
The Bucks.
Yeah, see, I have Mike Evans already in like the top 10. I'm a big fan of Mike Evans. I just think it's James Winston and their coach again.
The only other one, you know, he was really talented. You mentioned him earlier as Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
The drops killed him last year, and he just didn't look. Nothing looked right for him. If John Gruden's going to go in and say, right, you're the man. You know, we are a run-face team, but you're going to be open. You're going to be our main target. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a pretty good season as well. Let us know in the comment section below any of the answers to the questions we've been asking, by the way. We'd love to hear your thoughts, especially on this one right now, our final little game of the day before we head off, Chris. Last week we mentioned the quarterbacks and we said one throw to save your life, 1 2-minute. So we said a 2-minute drill, a game and a season.
Yeah.
This week with wide receivers, then I'm going to say it different. There's one catch to save your life, there's a game to save your life, and a season to save your life, and you can't use the same person at all. Let's go catch first. Who's your man?
Golden Tate.
Wow, okay. You like Golden? You're a fan?
I always have been since he came out, but he doesn't drop a lot.
No.
Like, at all. You're talking his catch percentage, I think, is like 76% from the wide receiver. And you know what? He takes a lot of receptions as well. So it's not like it's a small sample size where you might get like, you know, I'll be honest, I was thinking about running backs first, but it's the wide receiver show because, you know what, if it's one catch for a running back, it's probably an easier catch than it is for a wide receiver. So that's where I started down. Then I was like, do you know what?
That's cheating a bit.
It is cheating a little bit. So I'm going Golden Tate, and I know you guys haven't picked him for none of your spots.
I definitely haven't, Jenno.
I went Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, so
give me Larry Fitzgerald. If I need my life depends on it, I'm going to trust him. You should say Tom Brady. That didn't work out in the Super Bowl, so that's not happening. Catch you.
I'll pick Manning.
I'm going to say Nick Foles might be the right answer here.
So yeah, I straight away just thought, give me Larry Fitzgerald. I can trust him, but you feel like you trust me. Like you feel like he come up to you, pat you on the head, and go, "I got this, mate." And you're like,
"It's true. I'll make your life better. Never mind, save it." Like, you know what I mean?
I'll take DeAndre Hopkins. Thanks very much. And even if he's covered, I'll take my chances on DeAndre Hopkins. So one game, Jenno, I'll start with you. You can have a game where you need someone to have an absolute stormer. I'm
going Odell Beckham. I think he's the kind of person who's just going to catch it and go for, like, can just keep taking slants and go 200 yards, 300 yards, as many touchdowns as you want. I think he's got a little bit more consistency of doing that per game than Julio. Julio seems to have games where he goes missing. So I'll go Odell.
Yeah, I agree with that. Odell Beckham Jr. all day long, like.
Yeah, I mean, that's a clean sweep. And I imagine the next one's going to be Antonio Brown is my answer because we've all been watching the NFL. I mean, me and you, Chris, I don't know, Jenno, 5, 10, what?
No, since 2001.
So a long time. We've all been watching it a long time. He's the best I've seen in that time. Up there with Moss, I think it's really tough. I think him and Moss are 1 and 2. Moss was just a physical freak. You know, he was so fast, he was so strong. He had the hands that caught everything. You know, there was ones where he cut with one hand and just kind of was like, yeah, fine. I've never seen anyone get open as much as Antonio Brown. Like, you go into a game against
it's double, triple coverage.
You go into the
game
half
the time and he still comes out and he's like, hello, give the ball.
It's like genuinely astounding. Like, he's never gonna. I still never understand how Jerry Rice got those numbers because the Jerry Rice numbers are just like otherworldly, and he'll probably never get those. But it wouldn't be a shock to me if, like, when Antonio Brown retires, like, if he's widely considered the second best at least, then maybe I think he's that good. It's unbelievable. And give me a season of him, and
he's playing in the era for it as well. Like, I know Rice's numbers are even more
incredible
because of the era that they were playing in. But you know, everybody knows this is going to happen, and yet still can't stop it. And that for me is good offense.
Yeah, I just remember watching Brown versus Patriots when Butler was at what I thought was his peak, and he's playing him. And Butler had excellent coverage, and it was thrown, and Brown just caught it here and run away from him. What are you going to do? And it was just nothing you could do because the coverage was perfect, and that's why I think Brown's just other level about people, because it's not even about getting open, it's contested catches. And he jumps up and gets the ball. He's 5'10", and he out-jumps everyone. It's just ridiculous.
His will to win, I've never seen off like it. So was it 2 seasons ago when they made the playoffs against the Ravens on, was it Christmas or New Year? I think it might be Christmas Day. And he literally barrels himself over the line. He's got defenders hanging off him. And he's only little, relatively speaking. You know, he's not 6'4". He's not Julio Jones. He's not, you know, Calvin Johnson. He's a little fella. And there's just defenders just hanging off him. I think he's absolutely incredible. And if I had to pick one player, so, you know, Steve, you can only watch one player for the whole season. I'd just give me Antonio Brown. I'll be absolutely delighted. So, again, let us know in the comment section below. Your life's on the line.
If you could pick one player to watch all season, not wide receiver, who would it be? Is that what yours? It was just one player?
Of anyone, yeah. even of any position, I'd take Antonio Brown. I think he's so fun. Offensively and defensively, I'd pick Aaron Donald, because it's hilarious watching him just destroy people. But I think watching a year of Antonio Brown, you'd be happy a lot.
Yeah, I just watched Tom Brady. He's on every play. It sounds.
yeah.
I'd take a running back that just steamrollers people, just because I like to watch people get smashed.
Vintage Marshal and Lynch. Leonard Fournette might be your answer there.
He will be the answer.
You've just got to watch a lot of Blake Bortles. Well, Leonard Fournette's blocking as Blake Bortles throws another interception. So yeah, again, let us know in the comment section about all the answers, your answers to the questions we've asked, especially the final one. Your life's on the line. Who you're going to one catch, one game, and one season. We'll be back next week and we'll do running backs next week. So Chris is happy already. See if we can find anyone steamrolling over the grown men.
Have we mentioned that we went past 1,000 subscribers yet?
Have we gone for one have we?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of this. Thanks if you're subscribing. Thanks very much.
Took you long enough.
I mean, I was nicer than that. Very much the good cop, bad cop routine there. But let's say, thanks very much for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do.
Oh, fuck him! I'm only kidding. I love these all.
Please do subscribe and please tell your friends. Like I say, we'll be back next week. We'll be discussing running backs. If you've got any questions you'd like us to ask on the running back show, again, comment section below or tweet us at Cover2TV. Until then, we'll be back next week. See you later.